If you love them, you've got to let them be. This is something that you'll hear a lot and maybe feel confused about, especially if you're still in contact with your person. Maybe they are avoidant and you've been looking at ways to try to change the dynamic, to make it better, to make them understand you. Maybe you've been trying to explain better. Maybe you've been looking at videos about avoidance and wanting them to understand themselves. And all of that emotional work is on your shoulders. And this is one of the things where I got so confused because I heard this phrase, if you love him, let him be, accept him as he is. And where I was so attached to the outcome of that relationship, all I made that mean was I've just got to stay and accept things that I don't accept, right? But actually, acceptance can mean being able to look at this person and say, I accept you as you are, but yet I know I also have to accept me. And if I accept me, then it means that I have to accept the needs and the feelings that matter to me and the things that I actually want to honor, that I want in a relationship. And that might mean that we can't be together right now. And that I found really confusing and hard to accept because I didn't want it to mean that we wouldn't be together. But listen to me, because the only real opportunity for transformation is through acceptance. The only way that we start to feel that we can love and be loved is when we're in acceptance of what is. And sometimes that means having a breakdown to maybe a breakthrough. I've seen this happen so many times before, where people break up, they accept things are not working. This doesn't work for me. The way that you are at the moment does not work for a relationship for me. I have to honor that. And that feels hard and it feels sad. And then later, it leads to a transformation when both people are not anymore expecting the other person to be different so that they can be happy. And the work that you have to do and that I had to do was in stopping putting all of your sense of well-being, happiness, and love onto that other person for you to feel good, because that's essentially what people do whenever they've got in this state of despair where you're missing somebody, longing for somebody and wanting them to be different, wanting them to wake up, and it feels urgent and it feels stressful and it feels like the worst thing that could ever happen because you wanted this relationship to work so much. That essentially means on some level you became dependent on that person for something about your well-being and your sense of self or whatever. And that is the work that this whole relationship dynamic is calling you, begging you to do. It's coming back to yourself, and that's it. That's why you've probably met this person. I believe that we meet people for a very good reason. And however difficult these relationships are, if you're willing to see it, if you're willing to look for the gold in the trigger, then you will find it. And often, I've worked with thousands of people and I have been through this myself. And this is what I see time and time and time again. This person is a mirror. They are mirroring to you something that is within you, your patterns. Your job right now is not to fix them. Your job is right now not to hope and pray and wish that they would change. Now is the time where you actually focus on your own patterns. You heal yourself. You look at what kept you in a dynamic that was hurting you. You look at all of those things and you actually go and have fun. You focus on yourself. You throw yourself into yourself, the things that light you up. And you remember how it feels to be not dependent on somebody for your sense of well-being and happiness, right? Because that's when true acceptance can happen, and that's when transformation can happen. I always say this, and you've probably heard this a million times before, we can't get to where we want to go unless we first accept where we are now. Okay. And people have these beliefs that come from childhood. I see this with my clients. And when you really dig into it, you find out, oh, that's what's keeping you stuck there. That's what's keeping you attached. That's what's making you feel like this is life or death. Like you're not going to be okay without this person. But actually, somebody avoidant, yes, of course, they have got their own work to do. But while they're unwilling to do it or they're not thinking about it, and you're trying to find ways to understand them, to focus on them, all of that is a symptom of you leaving yourself and avoiding the very thing and the work that you need to do, you know? And I did this for a long time, and I knew on some level that I was doing it, and I found it really confusing because I just didn't understand like how I was going to get out of that pattern, because it felt like it really did feel like if he got this, if he woke up, then I would change. But it's a bit like, you know, getting the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It moves. Then you're looking for the next thing and the next thing. You know, I actually got my avoidant ex back after many times of back and forth. And on the time where we really, really committed to each other, I thought, this is it. I'm going to be fine now. Oh my God, what a relief. We're together again. But it wasn't long before my stuff started showing up, my patterns started showing up, my disappointment, my dependency on him started showing up. And yes, he was avoidant. Yes, he was dismissive. And therefore, it became a really unhealthy relationship. But I focused on him for a very long time, not realizing that the work that I could truly do that would be actually transformative would be looking at my own stuff, looking at what the hell is making me so dependent on him changing for me to be happy, you know? And that was the stuff that really changed, moved the needle. That's what flipped the script. That's what absolutely turned the tables in the dynamic, you know? And it didn't mean that I then went, okay, wow, this person now wants me and wants to be with me. And yay, because I'd grown so much that actually I could see, well, I know what I need now. I know what I need, and I know what won't work for me. And I trust myself, and I know that I can be happy on my own, you know? And you do fall out of love with things that are not aligned to you when you're more in alignment with yourself. So, and sometimes you grow more in alignment with somebody. I've seen that happen many times with my clients before as well, where you do this work on yourself, and then there is more alignment when there is a space, growth takes place. But the fact of the matter is, I wanted to make this video quite short because really the point was to say that if you love this person, the best chance that you've got is to pull back, focus on yourself, remember who you are. And this is what I do with my clients. We can talk about it in the living room. It really is the cheapest way to get kind of support from me. But if you want one-to-one support, I have got the 25% discount on my one-to-one coaching at the moment till the end of May. And I'd love to help you. I so empathize with and relate to how difficult, confusing and stressful this journey is. Like I say, I went through hell in this journey with being so highly attached to somebody who was avoidant and dismissive. And it taught me so much and brought me to a much better, healthier place, flipped the script in that relationship, gave me choice, gave me actual agency where I can trust myself again. So if you want any help, then let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And if not, then I'll see you in the next video.